All right. Now I'm back. This whole thing has been a disaster already. Thank you, Jason Mays. Various people are calling me a dipshit. All right. This may be a shorter show today because of how stupid I am. Okay. Jesse is now typing song lyrics. And a good callback. What are you doing? Oh. Jesse, I appreciate that. I appreciate you all and your efforts. Eric, what were you talking about? You look like you were really impassioned. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. This is all terribly embarrassing. So let's review how this is all unfolded. Is start of the show a handful of minutes late because I overslept. That's a problem. Then there's the problem of weird crackles are coming out of the microphone. Okay, don't know what's happening. Time passes. Everything freezes up. Ridiculous. Restart. Upon restarting, there's no sound. Terribly embarrassing. As long as you're all getting a laugh out of it. What an asshole I am. All I can do is try to put distance between those incidents and now. And try to just do a good job for the rest of this show. I feel very vulnerable and weak right now because I just did like a whole bit and not one person on the planet was able to hear it. Okay. It's over. Let's move on. Jerry Jones has a problem. The owner of the Dallas Cowboys. America's team. Now, Jerry Jones, he's an old guy. He was speaking. I guess some guy died. And the guy he was speaking about, his name is Larry Lacewell. And so at the eulogy, this guy was the director of scouting on the team, and that guy was old too, 85, and he died in May. Well, they were having like some big, hey, let's honor old Larry event, and Jerry decides that he wants to cut up. You know how like it is at a funeral, you kind of like. I love funerals that turn into roast. That are excellent comedy. And when you're sad, you really don't need to try that hard to make people laugh because all they want to do is get away from the sad feelings. So you don't have to work too hard to make people happy when they want to get away from the sorrow, you know? I mean, I think about when Diana's dad died. And everybody was like, oh, my God, he did this, he did that, he was so great. And then it was one of his subordinates went, because he was a fire chief back in the day. No, he was a captain. He was a captain, not the chief. And one of the guys that worked with Diana's dad come walking up. No one's ever seen him before. And he stole the show. I mean, everybody's reading sorrowful words about Jerry. He did this. He did this. He did that. He was great. And then this guy comes up, and he goes, "Yeah, I'm here to tell you how Jerry earned the nickname the Hammer." I'm like, what? And no one had ever heard about this. Some of you have heard this story. But it's great. You know, hanging around the firehouse gets to be pretty rowdy, I guess. And all they would do at the firehouse in Bloomfield Township, Michigan, or Birmingham Township, it was Bloomfield Township, is lose their checks playing poker, drink coffee, make chili, and sleep. So you get around the firehouse, you're there for 2 or 3 straight days. You're very close with these people. First of all, Diana walks up and she's talking about how committed he was and how his resolve was strong. And when he quit smoking, he just did it cold turkey. So that was incredible. And then this dude walks up, this lieutenant. He goes, "Hey, now that Jerry's passed, I'm here to tell you, he didn't quit smoking. He smoked all the time at the firehouse." So he drops that, and Diana's like, "Wait, what?" So that was incredible. I laughed. Then he's talking about, "You want to know how he got the name the Hammer?" And first of all, no one knew he was known as the Hammer, but around the firehouse, the guy had like a second life. So one of the other lieutenants or whatever is sleeping in the bunk, and Chief calls a meeting, and he says to Jerry, who's the captain, he goes, "Go get everybody. Hey, Chief wants to have a meeting. Get up. Fuck you. You can't say fuck you. I'm the captain. Get out of bed. Fuck you." He goes, "All right, I'll fuck you." And Jerry was a big dude. He brings back his fucking hand and just buries it right in the guy's face. Right in the eye. Ah! And it just fucked the guy up. And the guy he just got up out of bed with his eye immediately closed. And they all like saw it. They go, "The Hammer! He gave him the Hammer!" And from that point on, he's known as the Hammer. How spectacular is that? When Diana's dad retired, they I guess the way they do it is they put you in the passenger seat of the fire truck, and they drive you home in the big ladder, and all the way home, lights going. They drop you off. They go, "Get the fuck out of here." I love the camaraderie between folks in the firehouse. It was just pretty. It had this ball busting military vibe to it. It was just sweet. Kicked his ass out. He's crying, and they're like, "Yeah, get out of here, you pussy. Fuck you." It was fantastic. I loved it. So Jerry Jones is roasting old Larry, the director of scouting for the Dallas Cowboys, Larry Lacewell. In his speech, he's busting balls on Larry Lacewell and paying tribute to him and his exploits with the football club. His speech about the scouting director highlighted his efforts to help create stalwart teams that pose legitimate championship threats in multiple seasons. During the speech, Jerry Jones, in order to joke and, bust the balls of the deceased Larry Lacewell, wanted to go down the road of, hey, I want to honor Larry at any practice or meeting by doing something that will remind us of him. Now, I guess this Larry Lacewell was short as shit, like super short. Like makes me look like an NBA basketball player. So Jones said, hey, I'm going to get me a midget to stand up there with me and dress him up like Lace. He calls him Lace. And think Lace is still out here helping at practice with us. But here it is to Lace, really, and I'm serious about that. So the line, I'm going to get me a midget, that did it. Now, I don't know about you. I mean, I understand that is a problem. Now, in front of you, right now, I am still going to say midget. That has not become offensive enough, in my opinion, to get me to stop using it. Whoever is in charge of making that word more offensive, you're going to have to work harder, because I am still going to say that. There are words that I think it could be a real problem. And I won't. This is not one of those words. And one of the reasons, there is a big reason why I'm not convinced of that. Because there's two sides to the story, and I'll get to that. Just be patient with me. I hope you're not too incredibly offended that I did that I read it verbatim, and that I indicated to you that, I mean, so yeah, I mean, if someone comes out to me and I would say, what are you, look at you, you're a midget, Jesus. Nonprofit organization, Little People of America. You see, they enjoy, they like being called little people, and I don't see what's the difference. Little people, midget. Who gives a shit? Denounced Jerry's implementation of the word, stating the dwarfism, which is another terrible word. What would you rather be called? A dwarf? Isn't that like a mythical figure? Isn't that like from fucking fantasy movies? The dwarfism community has voiced that they prefer to be referred to as dwarfs. Do they have a meeting? Do they say, all right, what are we going to be known as? And like half the groups raises their hands, midget, and half the groups is the dwarf, little people. We prefer dwarfs, little people, people of short stature, or having dwarfism, or simply and most preferably by their given name. Yeah, honestly, that's the thing. You shouldn't have any labels. If you really wanted to do this right, you just say, okay, so like if I were to be going out with Stu McAllister and my cousin, I say, hey, my cousin and I will pick you up. I would never dream at this point in time of saying, hey, my cousin and I are going to pick you up. Well, no, I would do that because I wouldn't tell him that he's a midget, because I would want Stu to be surprised, and that would be hilarious. But in most cases, most people would say, hey, my cousin and I are going to pick you up, and he's a midget, so don't be shocked or whatever the fuck. It doesn't matter. But Little People of America, they should be focusing on, we should just be referred to as people. No labels whatsoever. We're just people. And that's I think, the best, don't you? Little People of America spoke with TMZ and specifically referenced Jerry Jones' usage of the derogatory term midget is a term that has been widely known to be derogatory for years and should be common knowledge to anyone in the public arena, such as Jerry Jones. Now, I'm going somewhere with this as to why I think they've got bigger fish to fry at Little People of America. The organization continued. Ignorance at this point is simply not an excuse. Any use of this disparaging slur, along with suggestions or insinuations that our statue exists for amusement, is deplorable and inexcusable. Jones apologized. During a media interaction in Oxnard, California, where the Cowboys were holding a training camp, Jerry Jones issued a public apology for saying the M word. Earlier today, I made a reference which I understand may have been viewed as offensive. I apologize, he stated. This isn't the first time this term has been associated with high-profile sports figures. During a 1995 playoff game against the Charlotte Hornets, Michael Jordan purportedly squared up against 5'3" point guard Muggsy Bogues. Muggsy was a well-known player who utilized his unconventional for the NBA stature to great advantage. During a final key possession where Muggsy had the ball during the game's remaining seconds, Michael reportedly stepped back and allowed Muggsy to take a shot that would have won the game. Michael reportedly said, "Shoot it, you effing midget." Muggsy took the shot and missed, and his stats were never the same after that. However, Muggsy himself denied the story, saying that it's been debunked several times and that Michael Jordan never called him the slur. However, he did take a step back and let Muggsy take and miss the shot, as seen in the video above. Kind of interested in seeing that little fella. Okay, hang on. It wouldn't surprise you at all if this doesn't work the way today's been going. I think he could dunk, Muggsy Bogues. Or am I getting that wrong? That might have been Spud Webb. Here's some great grainy 90s video for you.
76, 4:20 remains. Hawkins.
There he is, little guy right here. A little shit running around. Shoot it.
Open, takes that baseline jumper, and Michael there again.
Boy, sure.
76.
Boy, that was great. Sure, I'm glad I took the time to play that. That was just fantastic. Well, anyway. The rest of the story, as Paul Harvey would say. I think that little people of America, they need to turn their attention towards this outfit. Extreme Midget Wrestling, as it's known. They have this is incredible. Now, they have come through Grand Rapids before. And everywhere they go, they are met with people that aren't blessed with dwarfism, and actual dwarves or little people are there raising a stink against them, saying this is the worst thing in the world. So I think this is one of the most hilarious things that could ever happen, to have all of these guys in the organization that they call themselves Extreme Midget Wrestling, baddest Lil Show, and it has to be Lil, Lil Show, getting protested by other little people. And I think it would be a spectacular spectacle to have these folks screaming and yelling right out in front of 20 Monroe Live, the local venue, with other lil people surrounded by people supporting the lil people who don't like the term midget. And, I mean, until this gets solved within their own party, I think we're all in a holding pattern on this term, because these guys love this term. So I don't think we can say that is a slur yet. I think we have to wait. We have to let these parties figure this out before we decide. I mean, it's who do you believe? one pack of people says this is a slur, and the other half are like, well, no, wait a minute now. We don't think it's a slur at all. We're all performers, and this is they're using the term. So, I mean, I think that this is really strange too. It's this one is tough to figure out, and even discussing it, it opens the door for trouble. If I continue to talk, I'm going to give you other examples of things that you could say about various races of people that you could put into this. And this would probably result in all sorts of issues for me that frankly, I don't want to go down this road. All I know is you've got the little people of America are saying, do not use the term midget. It is an absolute slur. And then other little people are saying bullshit, extreme midget wrestling. Which, if you were to look at their tour, these people are busy beyond belief. Tomorrow, they're in San Antonio, Texas. Now, they're basically just bars. And, you'll be sitting there having a drink and, Lucha Dwarfinators. And then you're sitting there macking on some chick, and there's little people beating the shit out of each other in the squared circle. Caboose Bar and Grill. So they go from San Antonio to Houston, all the way up to Illinois. And so that's kind of the tour. Midwest and the South. Pennsylvania, Ohio, Virginia. So East Coast, Massachusetts, North Carolina. They're playing at the Army National Guard base in North Carolina, Elkin, North Carolina. Georgia, Alabama, Virginia, South Carolina. Georgia, more Alabama. Texas. Lots of Texas. Florida, North Carolina, Virginia, Florida, Alabama, more Texas. And then as far west as they go is Arizona. So, I mean, strikes me as something that probably in your liberal communities, you probably don't want these guys to go in there. It might backfire on them. These people, you're going to not woke communities, I think. But okay, in fact, if you took a look at the wrestlers in the organization, Extreme Midget Wrestling, these guys work their asses off. You got Boombox, Steve-O. Now, these people are stronger than your average, they're stronger than you and I. They may be shorter, but they have incredible strength. Like that of 3 or 4 men. But the arms are shorter, so you may actually be able to do okay. So they do have limitations. Sometimes they don't move well, depending on how wonky their legs are. A lot of times you get a little bow leg action. You got Rasta Roo, Pinky, this young lady, looks to be in incredible shape. Outlaw. And I like how the website looks excellent, and they really dress up. Octagon Cito, another luchador, Mini Fusion, that looks badass. Another luchador, Mini Durango Kid. Another luchador known as Lil Pecker. I think he's a rooster. Lumberjack is there. Lil D, King Midget. And then, this is sad, these two are dead. Rampage, he's dead. Mike Hawk is dead as well. All right. And they have been in Michigan. And I remember last time they were in Michigan, they were protesters. So you get woke little people and other woke people protesting the little people out in front of the venue. It's great. I love it. But Jerry Jones, I don't even know. If I'm Jerry Jones, frankly, I might be like, yeah, I understand that there's people offended, but I don't think that we're at a spot where I can apologize. People are like, what? Huh? Yeah, first of all, I'm old and I'm super rich. So I don't really give a shit. And third of all, I've got little people themselves calling themselves this. That would be like, the NAACP changing their name and having a different N-word somewhere in their title. That would be horrible. I wish I hadn't said that. That's probably going to come back to haunt me. Would it surprise any of you that I'm hearing terrible noises in my ears? I need to unplug this. Hang on. All right. I think everything is breaking down today. That's how it's going to be. The idea is floated. Eric Zane, can you ask Kyle from Dumpster Divers how many midgets he think he could take in a fight? I will. And I'd like to answer that too. I think one. No, I don't even think I could take one midget. And if it were one of these midget wrestlers, no, I don't think I could take one of them. They're extremely. Maybe I would have a chance against the lady. Ron from Dirty Donut Race says Jerry Jones should book the wrestlers at the Cowboys Stadium and do a show for charity. They should be the halftime entertainment. Another question. Kyler writes, how many could Kyle Tiller fit in one provided dumpster from Dumpster Divers? A midgets, a dumpster full of midgets, for God's sake. I probably shouldn't use that term. What do you guys think? The suggestion or the variable, it really depends. Is this a one-on-one where they're all lining up to fight, or are they all engaging simultaneously? It would all be simultaneous. I don't think I could beat one of these people. All right. For the folks that are watching on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube, oh my gosh, it's been a shit show. Absolute shit show for you. And I apologize for that. It's nothing that I did. It just happened to happen. No, it is something I did. But it's just one of those days. You just got to roll with the changes, as Kevin Cronin from REO Speedwagon would say. All right. So if you are on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube, what we're going to do now is I'm going to send you on your way. But if you want the full show, you can catch the rest of it on Twitch, twitch.tv/Eric Zane Live. Thank you so much. If you would go there and follow, you might have to give yourself a little username so that you can watch. But that's what you do. Twitch.tv/Eric Zane Live. That's where the show goes on in its entirety. And as always, you can sign up for my Patreon, where I do another second podcast each and every day. Patreon.com/Eric Zane. Or download the audio podcast wherever you download podcasts. Okay? Just search for my name, Eric Zane Show Podcast, and there you go. Listen to your heart's content. I thank you. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.